Kia ora and welcome to another episode of Rural New Zealand. I'm your host Scotty. Join me as we check out what's happening in the rural communities. On this week's episode we meet a man who works with leather. It's down to Ashburton to see what the guys from RX Plastics are up to. But first we meet a sheep, beef and dairy operation up at the Kaiwara Ranges.
My name's Rupert Davison. I farm in a partnership with my brother Dan and my father as well. We're in Culverden, just east there, and we're on a 350 cow, 1200 ewes and 130 beef cow farm, and about 1200 hectares.
You want to tell us a bit about the history of the farm? Obviously it's a family farm.
Yeah, we're about, I think fifth generation? Yeah, fifth, sixth generation. So yeah, it's been in the family for quite a while. We've pretty much just been, just converted about 3 or 4 years ago. So yeah, it's been going pretty well since then we did that. But, yeah.
And why the move to dairy farming?
Money, pretty much, yeah. We got sick of meat companies and pretty much not making any money out of sheep and beef. It was just an absolute have. So we changed it up because under irrigation, we found that it wasn't really doing much, especially with our irrigation system wasn't going. It was quite an expensive one, so it didn't really pay for us to be doing that. So we changed it up into dairy.
And then what kind of cows are you running on the farm?
We're running, at the moment we've got quite a large crossbred influence in our herd, but we're quietly going towards a Friesian. I like Friesians. I've done a fair bit of work with them in the past, so I'm quite happy with them. They tend to give up high fat to protein ratios, and you seem to just, they handle better having short walks, like because we're a small farm. So the shorter walk we can have, the better for them, which, no lameness, that sort of stuff.
And how are they going in the drought conditions?
Yeah, drought, not too bad, like sort of irrigation's kept up. But no, we're going pretty well. We got 475 solids last year out of them, so yeah, gunning for 500 this year if we can do that. But no, very happy actually at the moment. Yeah.
And with the dairy side of things, are you looking at expanding or anything like that?
No. We did that last year. We bought another farm. We bought a runoff block that was right next door, and it's been awesome. Having it saved our neck this winter. But no, nothing at the moment, just sort of consolidate really, get things ready to go again, and then we might look in the future, in the next sort of 10-15 years we'll do it once we get things sorted. As I said before, we've got 1200 ewes and 130 beefies. Basically it's pretty, how can I put it, we don't finish anything, we've got no replacements, so everything gets bought in and everything gets sold out store. It's pretty low in, low out. We don't spend a lot of money up here, which it's nice to get off the dairy farm really. It keeps you interested and happy really. My brother, he loves the office. That's his big thing that he loves doing, so he does that. I tend to do more of the grazing and the hands-on, but he's around 70% of the time anyway when he's not in the office, so it seems to work really well. He's pretty handy. Yeah, he loves the hill. Like, we both love the hill. It's sort of, we do it for nostalgia reasons really, but no, it's quite good fun, and we share it pretty evenly up here. So yeah, he's pretty handy actually. He's got good dogs, so it helps.
So Rupert, it looks like you've been pretty busy down below. Yeah,
we've got we're busy planting fodder beet at the moment. We've got about 15 hectares going in at the moment. We've got 20 hectares of turnips and 20 hectares of kale going in as well. So yeah, that's got us pretty flat out just right now, getting all that in. And then pretty much a little bit of regrassing, but not much in a year like this. Yeah.
Is this your first year growing fodder beet?
No, this is our third. So yeah, we're starting to get better at that now. It's cost us a few cows, but not too many. It's very hard crop to graze, that one. It's probably the hardest thing I've done for quite a while. The fete got started about 25 years ago. There were 4, my mother and 3 other women in on it as well. It was basically back in the 80s, farming was quite tough, and so they thought they'd try and do something a bit outside the square, and this is what they ended up with. So yeah, the fate. It's a bit crazy, but yeah. Quite
a successful afternoon.
Yeah, it's been pretty good for them. Yeah, I haven't actually had a lot to do with it because I milk cows and stuff. So, but no, they seem to go really well. These 2 paddocks over here, you can see they that all gets filled up. They fill about 8.5 hectares of cars up in paddock. So yeah, it's good. You get about 6,500 people through the gate or something like that. So yeah, can't complain.
Obviously, looking ahead to the future, are you looking positive?
Yeah, you've got to look positively with it all. And if you don't, you don't go anywhere. But just set goals and try and achieve those goals at some point. Yeah, no, I'm positive with the dairy sector. I think it'll pick up, and it's already doing it now. But I think this year there'll be about a $6 payout. I'm hoping for, but you wouldn't know.
Pray for the best.
Yeah. Pray for the best, plan for the worst. Yeah.
And do you have any goals for the hill blocks as well?
Hill blocks, we're trying to get our basically all our young stock up to higher weights at sale, which basically more money in the tank, and it just comes back to more condition on ewes at lambing, and same with the cows, and better mating percentage out of them. Like, we're not quite hitting our targets that we want to hit there, but we'll get there. It's just getting that journey. Since we bought the dairy farm in, we have found that it's been quite hard to get what the actual hill country can sustain, so we're nearly there now. So yeah, a little bit longer and we'll get it.
Everything's a work in progress.
It is, it always is, always learning.
After the break, we talk to RX Plastics and Vince from Ironman 4x4. See you then. Welcome back to rural New Zealand. With a hot, dry El Nino summer forecast, now's the time to think about water storage and irrigation. Yeah, so Phil, do you want to tell us a bit about the RX Plastics story?
Yeah, basically the company started in 1972, and initially it was actually producing a bizarre thing called a bag tie, which was a very small product in any terms, I guess, but it was popular. And then the company decided that really it needed to look at what other possibilities are there that we could do to grow, to satisfy what was happening in the market. And in the 1970s, irrigation was starting to happen in New Zealand. A lot more emphasis on that. A lot of production systems had been in what was relatively damp climates like Waikato and Southland. And there was an opportunity to start manufacturing some pipe. We started manufacturing small, low-density pipe early on, and then moved into the higher density products up to a big size of 2-inch. In actual fact, we now produce up to 500mm OD pipe, and right down to 2mm. For microtube and product like that. So quite a range of that sort of stuff.
So what are some of the other areas you're now moving into?
Well, initially most of our production was polyethylene pipe, which is the black stuff that we can see in the back of us. But we also produce blue and yellow for gas and a number of other products like that. We also now manufacture PVC, so once again up to that 500mm OD size in PVC, which is really the mainstay broadly of irrigation in a broad acre sense, and a lot of municipal stuff is also done in PVC. But it doesn't stop there. We've developed now into tanks, rotational moulding. We produce tanks up to 30,000 litres in both islands, north and south.
And you've had a bit of a success story with the K-line irrigation, haven't you?
Yeah, K-line has been one of those really stories that you would think would come along very seldom in life. But we actually had a farmer come to us and ask us whether it was possible for us to create something that was a little bit more robust than a drench container. And I guess as a business we saw that there was some opportunity in that. And in fact we now sell that in New Zealand, nationwide of course, and we also do that into the United States, or broad North America, South America, Australia, Africa. Actually it's used in a lot of places. You just realise how much pastoral system there is internationally. We've really built our business on taking some of those innovative ideas and making something of them. The most recent of which is the G-set irrigation product, which is solid set irrigation, so not being moved, so the labour is very low. Okay, it is expensive to put lots of sprinklers across areas because you can't move them like you can with K-line, but we've produced what we think is revolutionary control systems to go with that, because the key to that is actually how you control it. We're using radio mesh, so first of all they're independent, so there's no wires in the ground. We don't end up with lightning issues or other inductive issues with wire in the ground, and they operate by mesh, so essentially regardless of what the topography is, whether it's up over a hill, up a valley, round a valley, along, we can actually communicate with all of those devices from one point. We're placing them at roughly 40 metres apart, which means that in fact you get a pretty good coverage from a small area. It's not then an impediment to fertiliser trucks or any other piece of equipment because they're at such big distances. And that really does do a good job, and they're high enough that the animal won't rub on them, won't step in them, and low enough that the animal can't rub on them. So they're relatively impervious to most animals.
Okay, we're down here at the Ironman showroom, and tyres, very important.
Absolutely, yep. It's one of the first things we say to people if they want to go off-roading is get a good set of tyres. It can make all the difference. So yeah, we have a few in our range that we do. We do Maxxis tyre, which is an American one, and also the Kermos, and we all have access to BF Goodrich and a few other off-road tyres as well. So, and we do the full range of sizes, so right from car tyres up to truck tyres as well. And just in the showroom here, we've just got a few different examples, right from sort of likes of the all-terrain tread pattern, which are a really good sort of probably a 70-30 tyre, so there's sort of 70% on-road, 30% off-road. As you can see, still got a bit of what they call a void area or a gap between them, but plenty of rubber on there still, so, and not noisy on the road, but give you a little bit of extra grip compared to a normal road tyre. Then we can move on to say like a 50-50, which is a true sort of on-off-road application, so 50% off-road, 50% on-road, a bigger void areas in there, a bit more self-clearing, and getting a little bit of road noise, but pretty good. So really good sort of on-off-road combination on the farm and going to town without too much noise. And then we can sort of move right up into the more aggressive type ones, which end up probably going 70-30, so 70% off-road, 30% off-road. And you can see these have just got nice big void areas which will help throw mud and clear the tread. Quite a deep, aggressive tread. Fantastic for off-road. Still good on the road, no doubt about it. They're very good, and they will give you very good kilometres as well. A little bit of road noise potentially, just because of those big lugs. So we have the whole range, right from sort of your on-road, normal road tyres to your aggressive off-road tyres. Cool.
And I see you got a few rims here as well.
Yeah, we do a range of rims. So we've just got a couple of steel rims here, which are sort of good for your standard sort of farm use and things, but we also do a range of aluminium rims, right up to your flash 19 or 20 inch ones for your yeah, if you want a smart looking truck. So yeah, we can do the whole range.
Yeah. And in the middle of winter, sometimes things get icy and snowy.
Absolutely. Yep.
There's a snow chain there.
Yeah, so this is what we call a ladder chain. So it's a very heavy duty snow chain with an icebreaker on it. So, but it's great for mud as well as ice and snow. That is a heavy duty one for 4-wheel drive vehicles. But we also do the smaller diamond type chains for just getting up the ski field and things where you don't need them quite as meaty or as grunty as that. So yeah, but no, it's a full range of snow chains we have as well.
Oh, cool. Oh, if you're after tyres, rims and snow chains for your winter adventures, get in touch with Vince, he'll sort you out. After the break, we meet a man who spent many years making leather goods in Canterbury. See you guys then.
I'm Chris Lewis. I'm a dairy farm consultant. I actually also happen to be behind the design of Pasture Coach, the software that we've in fact just built a new version specifically for farmers to come down off the internet. Pasture Coach was actually developed from an idea over a Christmas dinner. My brother-in-law, who's a computer programmer, said, hey, I'd really like to get my teeth into something that would actually have meaning out there. And at the same point in time, I was experiencing some issues with farmers who didn't have a simple piece of software that would actually allow them to do the job nice and quickly. Farmers are actually regularly out there scoring their pasture, and they're looking for a relatively simple way to put that information into their computer and then to be able to see that information in a way that helps them make management decisions. So we look to put all of that together in a nice and simple way. We have a new version of Pasture Coach now. We call it Pasture Coach ITC, ITC being in the cloud. So it's sitting up there in the cloud in terms of on the internet. You can download the program onto your PC. You sign up, register, and then from there on in your information is always backed up sitting in the cloud. Another one of the features of having Pasture Coach in the cloud is that you can share with others, so there's no limit to the number of people you can connect to Pasture Coach. Farm owner, share milker, manager, they can all be connected and use it. And further to that, we've also now just developed a mobile app. So you can actually use your phone or your smart device, and again, anybody can be connected to that, and they can get their information literally while they're out there on the farm. We can make provision for whether you're an existing user or a new user. For existing users, we can actually take your database and actually convert it over so that it's available to you when you come on to Pasture Coach ITC. And for new users, it's just a simple function of setting up your farm and then synchronizing, and the data can be carried over onto your mobile. So the mobile is actually free to download, it's a mobile app, but for the Pasture Coach annual license, we think it's pretty reasonably priced at $145 a year. Further benefit of having Pasture Coach in the cloud is that if your computer crashes, no problem. Once you get your computer back up and going again, just log in with your username, download the software, and immediately the system recognises you and brings your information back into play. You don't lose anything. Dairy farmers seem to be experiencing relatively tough times at the moment, and yet we're getting good contact with people talking about Pasture Coach. The simple thing is that people are coming back to grass, their cheapest feed. How do I manage it well? And we think we have the tool to make the difference.
Rightio, so we're here in the Hurunui district and we've heard about a man who makes leather boots, and he's extremely passionate, so I think we'll go meet Terry.
Most of the machinery in here is, a lot of it's over 100 years old.
Wow.
I started collecting it as an apprentice in 1960 for my retirement, believe it or not.
Should we go check it out?
Yeah, we'll hop into this.
Into the man cave. Terry, what have we got here?
This is actually a pair of boots, as I said, my first pair since I had cancer in 2007, and I'm just starting up to produce a few with my size 11.
Oh, cool.
That's what they call a D-ring boot. That's the runner, so basically that's the sole. And if we get back to O'Brien's again, these 3 tacks that went into here, that's actually one of the old lasts. They're all produced in England, all wood, and they made thousands of boots. the guys that, one guy had a job of just putting in 3 tacks there. He had that job day in, day out for 30 years.
That's a long time.
That's all he done. All day was bang, bang, bang.
How many would he do a day though?
Oh, 700.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot of shoes.
It is. So we get that together. We have that. That's the upper goes on there. That's the runner. It'll go onto there. That'll be lasted, and everything will be stitched together. It'll be a leather sole goes onto that, and then a machine will stitch through that thickness.
Yep.
Which will go. I'll show you the machine.
Yep.
It'll stitch up to over 1/2 inch in thickness. Well, Scotty, you'll find quite a few old machines here. This one here, believe it or not, is one of the old style eyeleters that covered the small ladies' boots and that. And it was one of the first type that the actual eyelet, where you can see, I'm lucky I got 1 million of these. You throw the eyelet in, and as you press it, it spins a little, that goes round as you're doing it. It spins the eyelet up the right way, comes through here so you can put your eyelet into the boot, which is quite interesting. That's for stretching shoes, one of the older ones here. So you get that, and that actually comes out like when you put your boot on, and it's a little bit tight. That just stretches it right out. This one here is probably, it's late 1800s and probably one of the first Blake stitches, and that would stitch through the runner and the insole. We can actually switch this up. This stitches the sole and the runner all together in one go. It's got like a banana shaped needle, and we won't actually, I can operate it, but we haven't got a hang of a lot of time, I don't think. I can actually show the mechanism. See, it's got nice big cams on it, and the needles are banana shaped, and at that speed it'll go through 1/2 inch in thickness of leather.
Obviously these are used for polishing and stuff like that.
These are actually, believe it or not, this one's from O'Brien's that was dumped, and I managed to get new brushes. That's horsehair.
Oh wow.
And I know it's not a safety feature,
but
I do most of my polishing.
Yeah, I feel this.
That's an old sole press that probably no one's ever seen before. It's that old.
So it
just works on airbags.
Oh wow.
You put your boot under there, pull that down, and that presses the sole on.
This is all a hobby for you now, isn't it?
Oh, without a doubt.
Retirement days, just wee projects.
Yeah, and it's just building each one as I go along, getting got all the motors and everything, just getting them going.
Keeping you active and
then
gives you
I'll pot around making the odd pair of boots or whatever. Yeah. So quite interesting.
No, it's awesome. Thank you so much for showing us around.
That's all right. It's been nice to see you.
So can I order a pair of boots now, or do I have to wait 30 years? Or
the fastest thing I can do is belts.
Belts. Thanks for joining us on Rural New Zealand. I certainly hope you enjoyed the show. Just remember to like us on Facebook, and if you have missed an episode, you can watch it on demand. Catch you guys next time when we go on another amazing adventure. See you then.